Welcome to Local SEO in 10. This is your go-to podcast for answers about how you can grow your local business online easily and quickly. Brought to you by local SEO experts Magnified Media in Walnut Creek, California. In each 10-minute episode, our digital marketing expert Adam Duran answers your questions on how you can get more leads for your business fast. Remember, if you're not taking care of this part of your business right now, you can bet your competitors are. And now, here's our host with the questions, Jamie Duran, and our expert with the answers, Adam Duran.
All right, Adam.
Hey, Jamie.
How is your week going?
It's going great. Very great. Yes.
Very great. Excellent.
Yes. Always great. I know it's crazy, but it's good to do what you have, what you get satisfaction from. And I definitely get satisfaction from my job. It's fun.
I know you're helping all these businesses without whom, they would be falling back on print ads and all these things that are, you don't know what percentage of the advertising budget is effective. But that's the problem. You don't know what percentage is effective. So you've got to do it all. With SEO, you know what is effective and what's working.
Sure. And, it is, I think someone said, you should do what you love. I think it's more do what you find satisfying. So part of my life's philosophy is to be of service to others. And that's how I lead my life. And so this job definitely allows me to be of service to others, help them grow their business, help them help even more people. So that's definitely what I like.
Yeah. You and Danny Trejo said the exact same thing.
That's right. Machete.
Machete.
Yeah. All right. Today, though, I wanted to talk about a question that, we get obviously all the time. And we'll do this in two parts. So next week we'll do the second part. But in this first part, we're going to in both weeks, we'll talk about what does that first month look like when a client signs on with us.
Okay.
Because we end up doing a ton of work, but a lot of times the clients aren't really aware of what we're doing, right? Because it's in the background. It's so all over the place that they might not even know what we're doing. And so definitely during that first month, we're sending emails that says, hey, we're not trying to inundate that client, but we're letting them know, hey, we're doing this, this, and this, just to let you know. So that way they know that what we're doing it's starting, right? That our setup phase basically takes about a month a lot of times. Usually 2 weeks, but we try and say a month because we like that, under promise and over deliver kind of thing.
Yeah, that's the best because then people are always satisfied.
Well, and surprised because during our setup phase, we're doing, I think I stopped counting at about 200 different tasks. So
jeez,
it can get pretty detailed. And the reason it has to be detailed, all the stuff we do, is because you're dealing with computer algorithms. And so if there's an extra space or a missed phone number or an incorrect whatever, just one or two letters can mess up everything, or not everything, but it can have a really bad effect. So we want to make sure everything is done correctly. So, details.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. And your dogs are agreeing with me. All right. So first, what we're going to do, what we'll talk about is the things that we do on your website. So, when we take over, when a new client comes to us, we're looking at a bunch of stuff on their website. So the first thing we do is we're going to take a backup of the website, make sure that whatever we do, whatever happens, we'll have a pristine backup. So that way, in case there's any problems, we can always revert back to that backup. All right. Next, I think I have you still with me.
Yeah, definitely. Dogs went crazy, of course. So.
All right. The next thing we're going to look at your site. We're going to do a lot of the basic SEO stuff. So we're going to look at your site speed, make sure that your pages are titled correctly. We're going to focus on your home page and your location pages, because those are definitely the ones that are most important when people are coming to your site right now. So making sure that you have, we had a client, they had the same title for every location page. So they had 5 location pages that said, we are the top personal injury law firm in whatever, Mesa, Arizona, but they were in like 7 or whatever, 5 different cities. So that's, each one of those needs to be, unique. It has to say, this is the location page for Mesa. This is the location page for Phoenix. It has to be separate and different, right? So, of course, that kind of stuff. A lot of times your web designer you just overlook things like that. In SEO, we can never overlook things like that. Because now if Google sees 5 different location pages with the same title, it's confusing, right? So of course, any kind of confusing, it definitely hurts that algorithm's head. Boom, it blows up, and then it just doesn't know what to do. So that kind of stuff. So descriptions, we're going to make sure everything is described correctly. Make sure that the heading structure is done correctly. I know we've done a podcast on heading structure because it's really important. So just go back and take a look at that. Schema, make sure that your site has the schema done correctly. Most of the times it's, that somebody relied on some plugin to do it, and it's really, really bad. So we make sure that all that stuff is done correctly. And it's not like we just look at it and go, hey, that's good enough. No, we have to redo a ton of stuff on that website. And stuff like schema, it can get so deep and so long that it is very much an art, and it does take a lot of time to make sure it's done correctly. So anyway, good. All right. So if the client doesn't have multiple location pages, so they say you're a solar company and you have 7 locations, but all of your Google listings are only pointing to that homepage, not a good idea. So we have to create a location page for every one of those locations. So it's a discrete page with unique content about that location and that location's audience. Make sense? Yep. All right. So we're creating those possibly. Now, all this stuff, it does take, it depends on how great your designer was before we stepped on, right? If we're building the site, then of course we take care of all this, but most designers don't, honestly, they just don't care. Most designers we're dealing with afterwards when our clients come to us, they're beautiful websites, but they're confusing. They have a bunch of mistakes like I talked about just now. They don't have schema, and they're incomplete in a lot of ways that a visitor is not going to even notice. So you as the customer, you're not even going to notice it, but Google does. And that's where a lot of our work comes in. Great. Any questions about what we're going to do on the website?
Well, for your 200 steps, do you include, getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, walking the dog? Because eventually you do get to the clients. Okay.
No. This is during a setup phase with the client. Thank you, wise guy. But on their site, all that stuff, I mean, it is extremely extensive. And it just doesn't, it can never, sometimes it just seems like it's never ending, because we'll take on a client and they will have had somebody will have sold them a custom website. And what a custom website means is basically somebody in India created the site, and now no one outside of that person's purview can change or do anything without breaking it. And in those cases, we have to bring on an outside developer that we trust to basically go in and make it so that we can make changes and fix everything. It's when those are the ones that I know, okay, we're not going to hit the 2-week mark. It's not, because now we're dealing with another person on our team who, that could take anywhere from 3 to 8 days usually for them to even kind of understand how that site was created. It can be terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
It's a process.
It is a process. And so, when you're thinking, if you have a designer coming in and they're trying to sell you on a custom site, you can expect to pay custom site rates, and you almost, I'd say 9 times out of 10 for any kind of local business of under 200 million in sales, there's no reason for you to have a custom site. You just don't need it. just unnecessary. It's just that person wants to mark up, or that company wants to mark up and say, pay their Indian developer $500, and then they charge you, $5,000 or $10,000 for it. So unnecessary, in my opinion. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about, and this is something that everyone should have already had, and that is creating a master list of your usernames and passwords for everything. So we're talking about every social platform has a discrete username and password that's used to access it. Your Yelp page, your Google page, your website. If you have a lot of times your designer will make a username for you. We want to make sure that you, the owner, or whoever is the head of the company or the head of the marketing department, has ownership access, not manager access, nothing but admin, super admin, or ownership access. So we're dealing with a client right now that their previous company made their Google listing, and then the owner of that company put himself as the owner of that Google listing and no one else. And guess what? He's dead.
Trouble? Oh, I was going to say, you killed him. Oh,
no, he's dead. Company's out of business. No one can have access. We went through the whole verification process with Google, and they gave us the lowest access level to that page and basically said, yeah, you're going to have to try and find, somebody. Well, basically we're working, this is now going to turn into, 2-3 month process just to try and see if we can get ownership of that Google listing. It's terrible.
Jeez.
So making sure that you have this master list is super important for the ownership of all of these places, because just like this, what happens if they die? You have this web guy and he's dead. He wakes up tomorrow, he's dead. And now no one has access to your website. That's can happen. So we want to make
check
sure
with the wife.
Yeah. Good luck. Oh my God. Yes, you could definitely check with the wife.
Okay. But I mean, she didn't kill him, did she?
Yeah, unclear.
So
Unclear.
Just to get the website credentials.
But for me, that master list is something that it's basic. And then at the same time, making sure that every account has an owner that's not in my company. Like when we make an account, we make sure that we're transferring ownership always, because it's not our business, right? All of these platforms, it's not. And so we can get access to it. That's perfect. But ownership, no thanks.
Got it.
All right. Next time, we're going to talk about all the other stuff we do, because, wow, we do a lot of stuff, right? So
sure.
But we're out of time. That was fast.
All right. Well, that's 12 minutes. But sounds like we have a bunch more to cover next podcast.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, great. And you'll have more murder mysteries for us next week, which is fantastic.
Yes.
So if you are a business owner and you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to share it out. Please make sure to rate and review it. And then if you didn't know already, we've been recording this podcast for quite a while. We've covered, feels like, every topic under the sun about local SEO. And so you can search for any episode, any topic at magnifiedmedia.net. Just click on the podcast link, and that will take you to a searchable area of the podcast, and you can listen to every podcast since we ever started. So
that's right. And subscribe. Would ya?
So many things to do. Jeez, I need a list.
I need to check.
Anyway, so we will talk to you next week.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
That's all for now. Thanks for listening to this episode of Local SEO in 10 with Google local marketing expert Adam Duran. Join us each week for answers to your questions on how to best harness the power of the internet to grow your business. Speaking of questions, got some? Message us through our Facebook page, Local SEO in 10, and we'll be sure to give you your answer on an upcoming episode. This episode of Local SEO in 10 is brought to you by Magnified Media, the leading online marketing agency in Northern California, who invite you to grow your business by magnifying your online visibility and credibility. Visit them on the web at www.magnifiedmedia.com. Magnify your business, magnify your profits.